Welcome to this explainer. Look, we are tackling one of the absolute most universal daily struggles out there today. I'm talking about that epic, entirely exhausting battle against your morning alarm. You know the drill, right? You set your alarms the night before with the absolute best of intentions. You tell yourself, tomorrow is absolutely going to be different. I'm getting up, I'm being productive, I am seizing the day. But then, morning actually rolls around. And what happens? Well, let's dive into the reality of those early hours.
Just 5 more minutes. It's way too cold out there. You know what? I'll just start tomorrow. We all know these classic lines. Because what happens in the morning is that your brain suddenly transforms into this world-class defense lawyer. It literally starts actively negotiating with you for more sleep, building this highly logical-sounding case for why you should absolutely stay under the covers. So you listen to this lawyer brain, you hit snooze, and boom, your whole day just feels kind of weak right from the start because you've already broken a promise to yourself.
So here is the crucial point. We really need to stop looking at this as a motivation problem. It's actually a brain programming problem. By default, our human brains are literally hardwired to save energy and avoid discomfort. So if you try to force yourself out of bed using pure willpower, yeah, you're going to lose that fight almost every single time. Instead, we need to focus on brain programming. We're going to figure out how to actually trick your brain into wanting to wake up early.
To pull this off, we're following a specific psychological playbook to reverse engineer your morning. Here's our agenda. 1. The brain programming problem. 2. Clarity and the countdown. 3. Hacking fear and dopamine. 4. The identity shift. And finally, number 5. Win the night before. Let's jump right into step 1.
Section 1, the brain programming problem.
As we just talked about, your brain naturally runs from discomfort. But there's another massive flaw in how we usually set up our mornings. The human brain absolutely despises vague goals. When things are fuzzy, the brain defaults to its energy-saving mode, which basically means staying asleep. Think about it. A vague goal like, I should study, or I really should work harder, means nothing to your brain. That word should offers zero clear reward and creates a ton of mental resistance. But a specific target, like at 5:30 a.m. I am going to solve exactly 10 math questions and complete one topic, that changes the entire game. Before you go to sleep, you must write down one exact mission for the morning. Specific targets massively drop that mental resistance because your brain loves clarity. It needs to know exactly what the mission is.
Which brings us to Section 2, Clarity and the Countdown.
Because even with a crystal clear goal, there is this huge trap waiting for you the exact second you open your eyes. 10 seconds. That's it, just 10 seconds. That tiny number right there represents the most dangerous zone of your entire morning. The absolute highest risk of failure happens in those first 10 seconds right after waking up. Why? Because if you just lie there and think too much, your brain pulls you right back under. Thinking creates excuses. It wakes up that lawyer brain we talked about earlier. We have to completely bypass this 10-second window.
So here is your actionable tactic, the 5-second attack. The alarm rings and you immediately count down in your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you stand up. There is absolutely no negotiation allowed here. No grabbing your phone to scroll. No thinking about how nice and warm your blankets are. Just pure action. Physical movement actually kills sleep way faster than motivation ever could. Your body must physically move out of that bed before your lazy brain even has a chance to start talking.
Moving on to Section 3, Hacking Fear and Dopamine.
Once you are physically out of bed, how do we keep that momentum going forward? Well, we can actually weaponize two massive emotional drivers, fear and pleasure. First, let's look at fear. Psychology shows us that humans fear losing something way more than they enjoy winning something. And you can totally use this quirk of the human mind against yourself. Before you go to sleep, place your study book, your laptop, or your work material directly near your bed. When that alarm goes off, look at those materials and tell yourself, if I snooze right now, I am losing my future advantage. It sounds dramatic, but it's very real. Every single morning you waste actively trains your brain to become weaker, while every morning you win trains your identity.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can balance out that fear with pleasure. Enter dopamine. It's the chemical reward your brain will wake up instantly for. Have you ever noticed how you can easily leap out of bed at 4 a.m. if you've got a flight to catch for a vacation? Or if there's an early morning cricket match you've been so hyped about? That is dopamine at work. You literally don't even need willpower when dopamine is involved. So your challenge is to attach intentional pleasure to your early morning routine.
Here's exactly how you do that with some specific dopamine tricks. Buy a special delicious coffee that you are only allowed to drink during your morning work sessions. Throw on some really energetic music the exact moment you're out of bed. Create a cool desk setup. Maybe get some cool lights going so you actually want to sit there. And track your streaks on paper. Seriously, your brain gets a little dopamine hit just from the physical act of marking a win on a calendar. By doing these things, you are actively training your brain to connect early mornings with rewards instead of suffering.
Section 4. The identity shift. All those tricks we just covered are fantastic for getting you up tomorrow. But how do we sustain this for the rest of your life? This is all about the long game, relying on the powerful psychology of personal identity. Stop saying, "I'm trying to wake up early." Actually, scratch that completely. Instead, start telling yourself, "I am a person who wakes up early." I know, it sounds like an incredibly tiny shift in language, but psychologically, it is huge. Your brain always tries to act in a way that's consistent with your identity. If your core belief is that you're lazy, your actions are naturally going to follow that laziness. But if you internally believe that you are a disciplined person, your brain will slowly adjust its behavior to match that disciplined identity. Identity controls your habits far more than fleeting motivation ever will. You aren't just building a morning routine here, you are literally building a new personality.
Finally, Section 5. Win the night before.
Okay, time to state a very hard truth. Most people fail in the morning simply because they already failed the night before. You cannot program a successful morning if your nighttime programming is completely broken. If you go to sleep while scrolling reels for 2 hours, your brain stays highly overstimulated. It is flooded with cheap dopamine and bright light. When you do this, waking up a few hours later isn't just difficult, it becomes pure physical and mental torture. Late-night digital overstimulation entirely sabotages the exact morning programming we've been talking about.
So you absolutely must implement these mandatory nighttime rules. Cut out heavy phone use 30 minutes before sleep to give your brain time to actually power down. Keep that alarm far away from the bed, forcing you to use the 5-second attack. Go to sleep and wake up at the exact same time every single day. And physically reduce the lights in your room before sleeping to signal to your body, hey, it's time to rest. A truly strong morning always starts the previous night.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to internalize this core takeaway. Your future is not destroyed in one single bad day. It's destroyed by repeated weak mornings. And, by the exact same token, success is not built in one giant, miraculous step. It is built when you defeat your pillow consistently, day after day. You do this by setting clear goals, jumping up before your brain can even start to negotiate, leveraging fear and dopamine, shifting your identity, and preparing the night before.
Tomorrow morning, when that alarm rings, you have a choice. Do not negotiate with your mind. Do not let that lawyer brain win. Will you stand up before your excuses wake up? I challenge you to take control of your programming starting tonight. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you next time.